name is Loz. I am an independent women's practitioner for RUSAC, and I work for a project service that they call the Open Service that primarily works with female offenders. I work for the Irish service as well, which is women who are either still in domestic abuse situations or have left domestic abuse situations and still having issues around the abuse. I suffered from child sexual abuse and also domestic abuse for a very long period of time. And when I find that I'm working with the women who have been through similar experiences, they might only need to say a few words and I can kind of empathise with what they're going through and where they're coming from. It makes it easier for me to relate to them, and it makes them a lot easier for them to relate to me, because it's very difficult when you've been through some sort of trauma to explain to somebody who doesn't understand the process, doesn't understand why you stayed, doesn't understand how it's mentally affected you, and you've got to try and explain that to a complete stranger. It's horrendously difficult, and I used to feel it when I was a service user. I knew who I was getting support from, who knew what I was talking about, and women who actually was just there to do a job. It's kind of hard to believe some of the stories that these people come out with sometimes, and I think it's just about just being there in that space with them, and that gives them a power of strength that they feel somebody's finally listening to me, somebody's finally just getting who I am. And I think that's a big part of what we do here that makes such a huge amount of difference to people. They can be from benefits, lower class, gypsy class, right up to so-called sophisticated people who used to have a Merc and a £300,000 house. They're ranged from early 20s right up to women that I personally work with up into the 60s. Some of them it's current domestic situations. Some of it's childhood issues that they've never quite learnt to deal with. And it's just a case of letting them understand that the process is natural, it's perfectly normal, that the reactions are normal, and showing them how to kind of process it in the mind, really. And it can be very simple things that a lot of people take for granted, learning what personal boundaries are, learning that you have a right to say no. Would I change things? More resources, because a lot of resources aren't available, and it might be simple things like you finally got a woman a house and she's got not a penny to put any furniture in it. I've got a young woman now who's just moved into a new house with a young baby and she hasn't got any furniture, and that's frustrating because I think she shouldn't have to live like that. Regarding funding, give us some money so that we can actually provide this service. Yeah. Other than that, I think what really needs to be kind of put out there is awareness of what abuse is, because there's a stereotypical view of what domestic abuse is meant to look like, and a lot of women in this, and I did it myself, I was in an abusive situation 15 years and didn't even know it. But to me, I didn't fit the stereotypical, of what domestic abuse looked like. And I think it really needs kind of, and I know they're doing a lot of children's programmes at the moment in schools, and I think that's absolutely fantastic. But I think that awareness really needs pushing out, that you don't have to look like you've done 10 rounds with Tyson to be in a domestic situation. There's a varying types of abuse, but it needs to be out there as to what services are available and exactly what domestic abuse is. It just needs to be pushed, because people don't know. We need to raise awareness of what it is and that the help is out there. It's weird, but I'm kind of thankful that I've gone through what I've gone through, because that's brought me where I am. So yeah, it definitely makes a difference.